On this trip, we've seen the islands of Fiji, landed on a glacier in New Zealand, but I'm not done yet. I'm here in Auckland, about to fly to Hawaii on Hawaiian Airlines. I've never flown Hawaiian before, and picked them over Air New Zealand. Was that the right call, and what's it like to fly on Hawaiian Airlines to Hawaii? Let's find out on this trip from Auckland to Honolulu. Hawaiian Airlines was founded in 1929 and is the oldest American airline that has never had a single fatality or hull loss. In fact, they are the second such airline in the world, only a few years behind Qantas. I booked a one-way economy ticket for $361. Air New Zealand also serves the route and was about the same price. I like Air New Zealand, so why did I go with Hawaiian this time? Simple. Air New Zealand's 787 economy cabin is in a 333 configuration. Hawaiian's A330, however, has economy in a 242 layout, which means I could get a window seat with only one person sitting next to me. Hawaiian has ordered the 787, which will be arriving hopefully by the end of 2023, so that point would be moot. Hawaiian offers a bid up to business class like many other airlines. I did that on Sri Lankan. Here, the minimum bid was $795. I think I'll pass, but that is an option. I had about an 11-hour layover from my prior Jetstar flight, so I walked around Auckland. I've been to New Zealand 3 times, yet this was my first time in Auckland itself. I got some really good food, but after a few hours there, I think I'm good. I returned to the airport with plenty of time, more than 3 hours before the flight. I thought that would be fine, but oh boy. I needed to check in person as the app wouldn't let me check in. And seemingly they were rather short-staffed today. There were only 4 agents working the desks. The line already stretched down the hall when I got there at 8:33 p.m. I was finally able to check in after just over 2 hours. What a disaster. Then I was also selected for a bag inspection as one of my souvenirs apparently looked like a weapon. It was a replica of the Hokitika sign. This really bummed me out, as one of my favorite Priority Pass lounges, the Strata Lounge, is in Auckland. Rather than the 2 hours of leisurely sipping champagne after a nice warm shower, I had quite literally 5 minutes in the lounge. So here goes. The lounge is well furnished with an interior views of the terminal. There's a self-serve alcohol section and a buffet that was pretty sparse at this hour, but still looked pretty good. And there's shower suites. And that's it. Great lounge, 10 out of 10. Glad I was able to enjoy it. I guess I need to come back to New Zealand again. I walked over to the gate, which was just past the gate I was at in March of 2020 when all hell broke loose reviewing premium economy on Air New Zealand's 777. When I arrived at the gate, business class was already boarding. Rather than real premium economy, Hawaiian marks the extra legroom seats and exit row seats as extra comfort premium seats. These have power outlets and come with an amenity kit, which means if that's a selling point that regular economy does not have power. The interior is frankly quite dated. I think Hawaiian has some A330s with a newer interior, but this wasn't it. The TVs are older and still have a spot to swipe your credit card in. Though at least there's in-seat entertainment, United. Unfortunately, there are no individual air nozzles, so I'm sorry to my seatmate, as with all the running around, I was quite a bit of a sweaty mess. There's a blanket at each seat. Legroom was perfectly fine. The seats were fairly well padded, and I didn't find them to be that uncomfortable. To my surprise, we were handed a small amenity kit, even here in economy, with the basics. I'm definitely keeping the eye shades for the pattern. I'm still using my Turkish ones though, I'm sorry. I also noticed that the last person had stashed their trash from their amenity kit in the window. Hawaiian really leans into their identity, which is something I always enjoy in airlines. The crew was very friendly and they all wore Hawaiian shirts. The TV screens played a series of modern Hawaiian music.
Start a little fire with a wink of an eye.
The safety video also had a mix of Hawaiian themes and highlighted employees' favorite spots on the islands. The crews were also consistently saying mahalo rather than thank you.
Aloha, mahalo ike kipa ana mai.
When you're here with us, you're in Hawaii.
There are 8 emergency exits on this aircraft. 4 on the left and 4 on the right. Please take a moment to locate the 2 exits nearest you.
Flying time to Honolulu was 8 hours and 17 minutes at 39,000 feet. Even though the flight took off just before midnight, there was a meal service. It was a chicken salad sandwich, an apple, and a cookie. Alcohol was also complimentary. Additional snacks were available for purchase by talking to the flight attendants in the back. I stashed the meal and ate it later in the flight, but the sandwich was fairly mediocre. The in-flight entertainment had a decent selection, but the screen was quite temperamental. The moving map program was also fine but dated. There's no Wi-Fi on board the aircraft. I did my best to sleep as much as I could, waking up repeatedly over the course of the flight. I likely got about 4 or 5 hours. An hour prior to landing, there was a breakfast service. There was an omelet, hash brown, sausage, tomato, a muffin, and fruit. It tasted about as good as it looked, i.e. not great, so I only picked at it. While we ate, they played a 5-minute video about traveling pono, i.e. being environmentally conscious about protecting the Hawaiian ecosystem and nature, as well as basic travel safety tips. Fiji Airways' safety video was themed around protecting nature, as was Air New Zealand's. I wonder if they're all related somehow. Then it was time for landing. I squinted to see if I could make out Maui in the distance, but I'm not quite sure. We landed from the west. Taxiing to the gate, you really get a sense of the diverse airlines that serve Honolulu, from United, our Air New Zealand friends, Japan Airlines, Alaska, Southwest, and the legendary ANA Honu A380. If only they'd ever release any goddamn first-class award space, I'd fly to Hawaii just to try it out. The last thing to note was the experience in the terminal. Announcements were made in both Hawaiian and English, so that's cool. But we were funneled into a space with locked doors and people began pushing and falling at the top of the escalator. We ended up being trapped for a good 10 minutes. So Hawaiian Airlines, I'm glad I tried it. The crew was friendly and I appreciated the local flair. Yes, the check-in was an unmitigated disaster, but I'm hoping it was just a bad day. No, the food wasn't great and the interior quite dated. I'm much more excited to try the 787 when it comes out, or even their premium business class cabin. But those seats are designed for couples and, well, I'm still working on that bit. But it's worth pointing out that Hawaiian has this level of service on its domestic offerings as well to the mainland, while main US airlines often have an inferior offering to Hawaii, seeing it simply as a long domestic flight. That's slowly starting to change post-pandemic, and join me next time to fly Delta back to the mainland, who recently reintroduced meals in coach. Unfortunately, I really wish they hadn't, as it had what was quite literally the worst food on a plane I've ever experienced. So click here to see that review when it goes live, as I'm sure it will be quite spicy. Other than that, you can click here to see my thoughts on Air New Zealand's premium economy, or click here to see the entire playlist of this trip. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.